You call this method of sale by tender.
Yeah, so the true term, I suppose, is a tender. We call it property launch. As a franchise, we market it that way, but it is strictly a tender. And the difference, I suppose, it's a third option between auction. And a lot of commercial real estate sold this way.
Right.
And I think what it does do is it puts the onus back on the buyer, creates a controlled process, a deadline, which is also important. It also, in most cases, unlike this circumstance, enables a cooling off period, which a lot of our buyers are seeking, particularly in the current, financial environment. So I think, if you're offering an easy way to transact and it's not an auction, but it's an alternative, well, you're giving your buyer, you're giving more chances for your vendor. And in our current environment, where our average price is around the 750 to 800, that's our average sale. So we're not talking, we're in the, I would say, in the lower portion of the market on price. So a lot of our time, I'd say about 60% of our buyers, maybe even more, maybe 70% of our buyers are first home buyers currently. So with an auction process, it's quite daunting for a first home buyer, but you want to create the competitive edge for the vendor, but you also want to create a deadline as well. So I absolutely love auctions, Tommy. I'm a massive fan of auctions, but there's also, you've got to look at your audience and say, well, who is my audience? Is it a first home buyer who can't perform in an auction? Am I going to eliminate that party? Well, here's a tender, here's a process of sale, which is going to give us not the private treaty, there's no deadline. You could sell it the very next day, but then you can't delay sale to enable enough heads through the door before the vendor, can decide whether it is a good offer or not. And then you go down the path of them knocking back a great offer because they don't know it's a good offer. So what this system allows, basically in our circumstance of last Saturday, it's a 2-week period. By 5 o'clock on the second Saturday, last Saturday, all offers had to be in, and we had 8 signed contracts. Now, the great thing about that is it did go and exceed over its asking price, but also created a deadline. We created urgency. We created a vibe around it, a buzz, and the emotion was created through the competition. And because each of the agents are independently working, so to speak, they're all competing against one another, and they're moving towards the same common goal, which is, for their buyer to buy it.
Is this the process in summary? Like an auction, there is a day which is the deadline day, right?
Yep.
And let's call it, the 10th of June. Do you actually put a time of the day as well or not?
Yes, so 5 o'clock on Saturday is normally our deadline. It's our business. Our business is obviously works around a Saturday as a business day, so we consider that as a business day and a transactional day.
Okay, so you turn around and you say 5 o'clock. What they give you is a signed contract.
Mm-hmm.
With how much? Do they give you a deposit or not? No.
Yeah, 0.25% deposit.
So they give you 0.25%, and they put the contract in an envelope.
Correct. So I have envelopes in my pigeonhole, sometimes very full, and I will take those envelopes and present them to the owner, and the owner will basically decide on which option they have to choose, and they will then obviously choose on the best option for them.
And if I was a buyer, can you just role play with me? How do you actually set me up to know that I don't get a second crack at putting a figure in there? How do you actually convey to me? Because if I'm a buyer, I'm going to say to you, hey, Daniel, I'm going to give you I'm going to sign the contract, put it in an envelope, but I am letting you know, just come back to me because, we could have a bit of flexibility, I don't want to miss out on it. How's your response?
It's given you a test drive of Real Estate Gym. Let me tell you, if you're a subscriber and a member of the gym, you'll be getting videos from our co-coaches all the time. You'll be getting mentors, you'll be getting scripts, you'll be getting dialogues, you'll be getting templates, and most importantly, My Prospector, your personal accountability system to make more calls, get more appointments, get more listings. From around $10 per week, realestategym.com.au, your personal coach.